Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Denzel Bentley returns from defeat to Nathan Heaney. Lost his British title in that fight. He returns to knock out Danny Dignum in only 2 rounds, 3 knockdowns, and he picks up the WBO international middleweight title, gets him a world ranking. I have to say, I expected Denzel to win by stoppage or knockout. I've seen Danny Dignum before. I watched him. I actually watched him earlier on in his career when he fought a guy called Anthony Fox. It was a sort of journeyman with British title pretensions. He actually was a lot better than his record suggested, and he had Dignum. And Fox had Dignum on the floor a couple of times in, I think, the 3rd or 4th round of their 6-rounder, and Dignum ended up winning a decision, which I didn't agree with. I thought he lost the fight. And then Dignum, he was sort of fast-tracked. I don't quite know why. I guess it's his age, because he's 32 now. But he ended up picking up the WBO European middleweight title, which isn't the European middleweight title anyway. The EBU title is the only middleweight title that matters. And that, I guess that you use that as a springboard to fight Zanibek Alimhanouli, and he got done in 2 rounds there as well. So his only 2 defeats are in the 2nd round. He now slips to 16 wins with 9 KOs and those 2 defeats and a draw as well. And at 32, it's probably the end of any kind of even European level pretensions. If he wanted to, he could carry on and maybe, get a run at the British title, I suppose, as possible. But Denzel Bentley, coming off that loss to Heaney, he wanted to make a statement, and he did it very, very well. He looked really sharp, really on it. He's a couple of inches shorter than Dignum at 5'11", I think he is. And he's 29 now, so he's in his prime. Plenty of time left for him to get back into world contention. He's an orthodox fighter. Dignum was southpaw, but it didn't make a blind bit of difference. In the first round, Bentley was able to suddenly he was controlling distance very, very well. Dignum, I thought, was being a little bit too reserved. He should have been trying to be first, especially from the southpaw. Get that southpaw jab working, see if he can unsettle Denzel in any way. He didn't really do enough of that. He was trying to react and counterpunch a bit more than going forward and being proactive with the jab. Played into Bentley's hands. First round, not really a great deal in it, I suppose. But in the 2nd round, it all changed because Denzel, out of nowhere, landed he feinted, and it was a brilliantly disguised punch. He landed a punch right to the solar plexus. It was painful to watch. And Dignum hit the floor. I mean, his face was grimacing heavily. He looked in a lot of pain. And Denzel, he was all over him. Dignum got up. Fair play to him. He got up, and that was a painful knockdown. And sure enough, he's on the floor again from pretty much this. It might have been a different hand, but it was the similar punch right to the same part of the body. Second body punch, solar plexus shot, puts Dignum on the floor. He gets up again. I mean, Dignum, you can't fault his guts. I've always thought he's a little bit brittle, Dignum, but there's nothing wrong with his heart. There's nothing brittle about his heart. Physically, I just don't. He's very tall for the weight, 6'1". He just looks a little bit fragile to me. He always has done. I've watched his career pretty much from the start, and I thought, yeah, he can't really take a lot of it. But the guy's heart's fine. He got up. The referee let it continue, and then there was a 3rd knockdown, which was, I think, a right hand to the head from Denzel, which almost sort of flipped Dignum onto the mat. And Dignum again got up. He was bleeding there was a cut between his eyes, I think it was, coming down. The corner wanted to throw the towel in. Dignum was signaling to them, "Don't throw the towel in. I'm fine. Referee said, "No, that's your lot." And rightly so. I mean, there were 3 knockdowns, heavy ones as well. And Dignum knew where he was. He wanted to carry on. But sometimes I suppose you do have to save a fighter from himself. And so that's Denzel back in the saddle. And it was a good performance. It was a very, very good performance by Denzel. Just the way he went about his work, he looked very cool, very calm, very on it, concentrated. Very, very impressive. I know he had some out-of-the-ring issues. I think his son was born prematurely, and there was a little bit of worry about that. And so he says, the Heaney fight, I wasn't really on it. I wasn't really concentrating. I thought I could turn up and work through my personal issues. Sometimes that don't happen. You've got to be 100% when you get in that ring, mentally and physically. And Denzel apparently wasn't at the time. So a rematch with Heaney is a possibility. And George Warren talked about that after the fight. He said that they would like that fight. I don't see a problem with that. Am I right in saying who is he with Sky? Heaney, Nathan Heaney? I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I think he's with Sky. Yeah, but now we live in a time apparently where there's also sort of cross-pollination with promoters, so it shouldn't be a problem. So if there's enough money on the table, they'll do it, won't they? But well done to Denzel Bentley. Commiserations to Danny Dignum. What did you think of the fight? Did it go as you expected? I put my money on a 6th-round stoppage. It was 4 rounds before that, but good performance by Denzel, no doubt. He's now 19 wins with 16 KOs and 3 defeats, 1 by stoppage, and he's got a draw on his record. But he's fought very, very good men, and more to come from him. So leave your comments below if you've got any, and I'll have a read and answer them. And thank you for your time. And please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the like button as well. That would be a big help. Support the channel. And I will speak to you later. Bye for now.